and I haven't used too much petrol either, parents, so don't worry. This has a sport mode, and when you press it... Okay. Woohoo! This is wild! It feels very responsive. Hi guys, and welcome back to another video back on the Driven 24/7 Automotive YouTube channel. You are seeing correctly, this is my parents' recently purchased Panda 100 horsepower, which they bought as an MOT failure, and here I am videoing it. It's on the road, which means it now has an MOT pass. So let's get cracking with this video. So as always, this car needed a lot more work than my dad first thought and anticipated, and this car is to blame for my Nissan 100 NX being pushed back in the first place. But I'm glad the 100 horsepower is finally back on the road. So it's currently just me here, but what I will do is I'll get my dad on camera in a minute and he can properly explain all the work that he has done to get this Panda through its MOT.
So quite a lot of new bits. So at the front, new dampers, new wishbones, new springs, new top mounts, new dust covers. That's the front. The rear,
was that major job was meant to be the axle.
Yeah, the axle was rotten like they all are on these, and it's a special axle.
So you modified it and you sorted that?
Modified a normal axle, so it's got brand new axle on the rear. And then we had to put new brake hoses on it. There's 4 brake hoses at the back, like flexibles, they're new.
Yeah.
And then we had to replace a rigid line as well, from underneath the car to behind the driver.
So originally you just thought it was a rear axle, but by the time you started getting it on the ramp, obviously while it was up on the ramp, you decided to change whatever needed doing because it was in...
Try and future-proof it, yeah.
But and then it got a big fat pass, didn't it?
Yeah, happy days.
I introduced this car to you a little while ago on the channel. My parents first bought it in its MOT fail condition, I suppose you could say. It's got 120,000 on the clock. So we have the alloy wheels all round, so these are little Diddy 15-inch wheels. As we walk around the car, and we do have a body kit on this 100 horsepower as it seems, and I kind of like the way it's not actually factory coloured black. We've got the little arches there, nice little side skirts I suppose. Now as you'll see, we're going to talk about bodywork on this car as well. So, my camera tripod's in it, but there is actually quite a big sort of dent there. So this is actually, I'm going to point out because my mum wants me to really. This is actually my mum's car. So she used to have a Panda, or my mum and my dad used to have a Panda before, and this has been purchased for my mum and her little business that she runs. So hence why she now has another Panda back in her life, and also my dad fixed it up for her. Then we have a couple of little scrapes as we go onto the rear here. There's the all-important Panda 100 horsepower badge at the back there. And we also have these nice little digi spoiler, which again I really like. It's not much of a spoiler, but it does have one. Carrying on with the rear of the car, and this car has a blacked out tinted windows from factory, and I really like the black on black here. Just looks really nice and fat at the back. Yeah, just really like the back angle. We have this rather meaty, again plastic kind of rear diffuser here with the little exhaust exit there, but it does actually sound alright. To the passenger side of the car, we have a very important mod there, which is a Driven 24/7 sticker. Thank you very much, Mum and Dad. Another little sort of scratch there. Passenger side is definitely in better condition than the driver's side. Just talking about the boot for a second, we have this remote control key obviously to operate the car, unlock it, and it seems like you can only unlock the boot and open a boot if by pressing on the fob, so you can't just do that, it won't do it. You have to press this button. A little bit annoying. So interior wise, we have, this isn't a 5-seater, this is definitely a 4. We have these black and grey fabric seats, windy windows here in the back, and we also have one cup holder. So we've got 2 passengers that are going to have to fight over that. Into the driver's side straight away, you're greeted by these bright red, nice Panda kick plates. As you join me on the interior of this Panda 100 horsepower, and you definitely feel like you're in sportier seats. I'll have to go back and look at the videos I did of the very basic blue Panda my parents own. But yeah, they do feel a bit more firmer, I'd say. They have got a little bit of bolster action going on. So yeah, we have got some nice big bolsters here either side. I mean, just look at that. That is quite a high sort of lip there we've got for the sort of your bum area, shall we say. Very nice sporty seats, and as soon as you sit in them, you know you're going to be feeling safe and secure. And there we see it. This car has 120,000 miles on the clock. but you can't really tell apart from some of the bodywork. But like I say, these Pandas are quite hard to find unless you've got good money to buy one of these for. They're quite hard to come by, the low mileage 100 horsepowers. So on to just an interior sort of show around now. We have a Blaupunk radio. Anyway, it's all very sort of grey and plasticky, but you know, Fiats are cheap. It's not an Audi we're talking about here. It has got a CD player, says MP3, maybe it's got Bluetooth, I'm not too sure. Oh, it must have, because I am reminded we have the steering wheel controls here and here, so it must have Bluetooth. This car also has, let's have a go, aircon and climate control, and we've got the nice display just here. This reminds me very much so of my bath now. We'll just turn it off for a second. We have electric windows in the front. This has a sport mode, and when you press it, the little word sport shows up on the bottom of your dials, on the bottom of the display there, just to remind you you are well and truly in sport mode. But yeah, as a driver, everything is nicely in displayed where you want it. Now, as I take off this lovely tangy air freshener, it smells really nice. We have a little Momo gear knob, I like this, and yeah, again, just really nice and sporty feel. You lift it up and back into reverse, so everything's where you want it. So, like I say, it's kind of your generic Panda stuff in here. But you are reminded that this isn't just any old Fiat Panda. You've got a nice sport button just in my eyesight there, ready to press. And you've got a nice sportier seats, which is nice. Shame the headlining isn't black, that's grey. But yeah, all in all, it's just bog standard sort of Panda stuff in here, to be honest with you. Now, shall we go and take this 100 horsepower for a spin? No? Oh, okay then. Nah, let's do it, let's go. So here we are then, taking the 100 horsepower out for its first proper drive, and the first time I've ever driven a 100 horsepower Panda for that fact. Now, if you've been a long-term viewer of my channel, my parents have always wanted one of these 100 horsepower Pandas, and they started out with a very basic Panda. It had hubcaps on, but my dad got some custom side stripes made for it. He painted the mirrors, so it looked quite cool actually. And they had the ridiculous Abarth record Monza exhaust system fitted to it. That was the plans for this Panda, but parents are just happy this car's now got an MOT on the road, so who knows, there might be some mods to come to this car. If there are, then obviously I'll keep you guys in the loop with that. So just driving along at your 30 miles per hour now. It's quite quiet in here, just getting used to these seats because I do think they are quite firm and sporty, which isn't a bad thing to have in a sporty car. But then hopefully we'll take it down the road in a minute and we'll just give it a little bit and get that sport button pushed in and see what happens. Basically, you can definitely tell that this hasn't got your bog standard Panda exhaust system on. There is a nice little tone. It's obviously not in your face, it's not really loud, but it's there, and it is obvious when you're in the car. It just sounds nice, and from the back with the tailpipe sticking out, it looks nice as well. And I have to say, when I look in the rear view mirror out of those tinted windows, I do feel like I'm in something kind of cool. And I've always wanted to have a go in one of these, to be honest, because obviously my background is with Fiats and Abarths, and so is my parents. And yeah, I'm just glad they've got one. When they bought it, they said obviously I could have a go in it and film it, because of course that's just what I do, innit? So I'm happy we now have this in the collection. We'll see where my parents go with this car. Now this is going to be my mum's work car, but when they got the Panda they were remembered of how small these cars are, obviously. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to be my mum's work car, or if it will just stay as a runaround basically. Now it has got an MOT. They bought the car cheap because it didn't have an MOT, and I've said to them, even if you end up selling it, because you've put a fair bit of money and time into the car to get it through an MOT, cars with MOT sell, of course, if they decided to sell this. But I'm not sure, they might just decide to keep it for the sake of it. Few people on YouTube, car YouTubers, have reviewed these Panda 100 horsepowers before, and I don't go by the names of being a car reviewer. That's not what I'm trying to be. It's just me. Well, maybe I am doing a review of it in my own words, but it's just me trying this car out. But people say that when you put the sport button in, it goes a bit juddery, so it's best to use the sport button when you actually need it, not just for around the town driving. Now I've just pushed it in for my first ever time in trying the sport mode, and it feels very responsive. We are going down some windy roads to give this a little go. Yeah, it feels much more responsive. Throttle response is much more quicker, just like it would have been on the Abarth with the Abarth sport modes. Steering seems to have got a bit firm as well, which I quite like. The So when it's not in sports mode, it's just a little bit more lighter. Again, I don't know this car very well, and I know it's had work done on the brakes. I'm not going to give it too much of a hoon. And these gear changes are really nice as well. Nice little short throws. It's a bit bouncy, but it's fun. I'm really not going fast at all. I'm doing like 35 miles per hour. Oh, I love the gear changes very much. And there's also a little myth that these cars do run better on E5 petrol, super unleaded, your more sportier, premium unleaded, than the E10 that the government are trying to enhance everyone to use. So this has now got some of that fuel in, and according to my parents, it's noticeably different. Okay. Woohoo! This is wild! God! That's wild! And we're not talking big power by all means, guys, but 100 horsepower in a lightweight little Panda is something. Ooh! It revved nicely as well. That was pretty fun, I like that. Good, not much body roll. Yeah, this does pick up very quick. So there we have it, guys. My parents' 100 horsepower Panda is on the road after they bought it as an MOT failure. My dad has worked his magic and the car is here. And thanks to my dad, the car is now on the road, which makes for a great video for me. And I haven't used too much petrol either, parents, so don't worry. So this car is definitely nippy. It's the first one I've ever driven one of these faster Pandas, and you definitely can tell it is sportier. When you put in that sports mode, the throttle response is much quicker and responsive. And yeah, it does take off. You really have to try and work to fight the car to keep it on the road. So I haven't given it too much of a blowout, like I said today. It's only just got on the road. New parts are easing in as such as brakes. But yeah, this car is definitely literally a blast to drive. It actually handles surprisingly around the corners, not too much body roll. This is a fun car for sure. So a big thanks to my parents to let me take the car out for a spin for the sake of YouTube, and can we all go in the comments right now and congratulate my dad on how well he's done on getting this car back on the road. He knows his stuff, he is very clever, and he's done it yet again by getting this car back on the road. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed making it for you guys. Let's show some love for this Italian little cheeky hot hatch we have here, the Panda 100 horsepower. Hope you've liked this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another car video. I'm going to miss driving this thing. I'll have to get the keys off my parents a bit more often, I think. Any excuse.